Why trusting everyone can destroy you. Stoic protection strategies. We're often told that trust is the foundation of all relationships, that we should give people the benefit of the doubt, and that seeing the good in everyone is a virtue. But what if I told you that blind trust can be one of the most dangerous mistakes you'll ever make? Welcome to a journey through Stoic wisdom that will teach you how to protect yourself while maintaining your integrity. Today, I'll reveal 7 devastating consequences of trusting too easily, and I'll share with you 5 powerful Stoic strategies to shield yourself from those who would take advantage of your good nature. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the ancient Stoics were so careful about who they placed their trust in, and how you can apply their wisdom to navigate our modern world safely. Let's begin without further delay. Number 1, you become a target for manipulators. The Stoics understood something fundamental about human nature. Not everyone operates from a place of virtue and honesty. Marcus Aurelius himself warned us to be prepared for encountering the ungrateful, the arrogant, the deceitful, and the envious. When you trust everyone equally, you send a clear signal to manipulators that you're an easy target. These individuals have developed a keen sense for identifying people who don't question intentions or verify claims. They recognize the signs. You accept explanations without scrutiny. You give second chances automatically, and you assume good faith even when evidence suggests otherwise. This makes you incredibly valuable to them, not as a person, but as a resource to be exploited. The manipulator will study your patterns, learn your weaknesses, and gradually increase their demands. What starts as a small favor becomes a regular expectation. What begins as borrowing small amounts of money escalates to significant financial requests. They condition you slowly, testing your boundaries with each interaction. And because you trust by default, you won't recognize the pattern until significant damage has been done. Epictetus taught that we should reserve our trust for those who have demonstrated through consistent action that they deserve it. Trust isn't something to be given freely, it's something to be earned through repeated proof of character. When you trust everyone, you deny yourself the protection that comes from discernment. Number 2, your judgment becomes clouded. Stoicism places tremendous emphasis on clear thinking and rational judgment. When you trust too easily, you compromise your ability to see situations accurately. Your mind begins to fill in gaps in information with optimistic assumptions rather than seeking facts. You start making excuses for inconsistent behavior, explaining away red flags, and ignoring your own instincts when they try to warn you of danger. This clouded judgment doesn't just affect how you see others, it affects how you see yourself. You might start questioning your own perceptions when reality doesn't match your trustful expectations. Someone lies to you, and instead of recognizing the lie, you wonder if you misunderstood. Someone takes advantage, and instead of holding them accountable, you blame yourself for not being clear enough about boundaries. The Stoic practice of prosophe, or attention, requires that we remain vigilant and aware of reality as it truly is, not as we wish it to be. When trust is automatic, this crucial practice becomes impossible. You're no longer observing and analyzing, you're simply accepting and assuming. This is precisely the opposite of the Stoic ideal of living in accordance with nature and reason. Over time, this clouded judgment can lead you to make increasingly poor decisions. You might invest money in dubious schemes because you trust the person presenting them. You might share confidential information because you trust it won't be misused. You might commit to relationships or partnerships that anyone with clearer judgment would avoid. Each of these decisions compounds, creating a life that's increasingly out of your control. Number 3, you attract energy vampires and takers. The law of attraction isn't just spiritual, it's practical. The energy you put out into the world determines the kind of people who gravitate toward you. When you trust everyone, you emit an energy that says, "I'm available for whatever you need, no questions asked." This is like a beacon for people who have learned to survive by draining others of their time, energy, resources, and emotional labor. The Stoics recognize that we must be strategic about our associations. Seneca advised us to choose our companions carefully, as we become like those we spend time with. When you trust indiscriminately, you lose the ability to be selective. You end up surrounded by people who see you not as a friend or equal, but as a source of supply for their endless needs. These energy vampires have a particular talent for finding generous, trusting souls. They can sense who will listen to their problems for hours without reciprocation, who will lend money without expecting repayment, who will sacrifice their own plans to accommodate last-minute requests, and who will absorb their negativity without complaint. Your trusting nature tells them everything they need to know about your exploitability. What makes this particularly insidious is that these relationships feel normal to you. Because you trust, you don't recognize that the exchange is completely one-sided. You tell yourself that friendship means being there for people, that good people help those in need, and that your turn to receive will come eventually. But it never does, because you've attracted people who are fundamentally incapable of giving. They only know how to take. The Stoic solution is to practice what they called sympatheia, or interconnectedness with discernment. Yes, we are all part of a greater whole, but that doesn't mean we must give ourselves away to anyone who asks. We must distinguish between those who are temporarily struggling and need support, and those who have made a lifestyle of extracting from others while contributing nothing in return. Number 4. You set yourself up for devastating betrayal. Perhaps the most painful consequence of trusting too easily is the inevitable betrayal that follows. The Stoics prepared themselves mentally for disappointment by practicing negative visualization, imagining losses before they occurred so that they wouldn't be destroyed by them. But when you trust everyone, you reject this protective practice, leaving yourself completely vulnerable to the shock and pain of betrayal. Betrayal by someone you trusted implicitly doesn't just hurt, it can fundamentally alter your personality and your view of the world. The psychological impact can be severe and long-lasting. You might develop trust issues that swing too far in the opposite direction, becoming suspicious of everyone. You might experience anxiety, depression, or post-traumatic stress. Your ability to form healthy relationships in the future becomes compromised. What's particularly tragic is that this devastating experience was entirely preventable. If you had employed Stoic caution, if you had allowed trust to develop gradually based on demonstrated character rather than giving it immediately, the betrayal might never have occurred. Or if it had, it would have happened before you were deeply invested, before you had given the betrayer access to the most vulnerable parts of your life. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that we should be neither surprised nor outraged when people behave badly, as it's in their nature. When you trust everyone, you reject this wisdom. You assume everyone shares your values, your integrity, your moral compass. And when you discover that they don't, the cognitive dissonance is overwhelming. The betrayal often comes from those closest to you precisely because your indiscriminate trust allowed them to get close. The business partner who empties the accounts, the friend who spreads your secrets, the romantic partner who has been deceiving you for months or years. These betrayals cut deepest because your trust gave these people enormous power over your life. Number 5. You neglect your own discernment and wisdom. One of the most valuable gifts you possess is your ability to observe, analyze, and judge situations and people. The Stoics considered wisdom one of the 4 cardinal virtues, alongside courage, justice, and temperance. When you trust everyone automatically, you're not exercising wisdom, you're abdicating it. You're refusing to use the rational capacity that separates humans from animals. Every time you trust, without verification, you're training your mind to be lazy. You're teaching yourself that observation and analysis are unnecessary, that your instincts and reasoning don't matter. Over time, this atrophy of discernment affects not just how you relate to others, but every area of your life. You stop questioning claims, stop verifying facts, stop thinking critically about information you receive. The Stoics believed that our rational faculty is the divine element within us, the part of us that participates in the logos or universal reason. When we fail to use this capacity, we fail to live as fully human. We reduce ourselves to reactive creatures who simply respond to whatever stimuli come our way, rather than conscious beings who thoughtfully engage with reality. This neglect of your own wisdom has practical consequences beyond philosophy. In your career, you might trust colleagues who take credit for your work, or superiors who promise promotions they never intend to deliver. In your finances, you might trust advisors who are serving their own interests rather than yours. In your health, you might trust practitioners who are more interested in profit than in your well-being. The development of discernment requires practice. The more you trust automatically, the less opportunity you have to develop this crucial skill. You need to encounter situations where you must decide whether someone is trustworthy, gather information, observe behavior over time, and then make a judgment. Each time you skip this process by trusting immediately, you miss a chance to grow wiser. Number 6. You enable bad behavior in others. The Stoics believed we have a responsibility not just to ourselves, but to the broader community. When you trust too easily, you're not just harming yourself, you're enabling others to continue behaving in ways that are ultimately destructive to them and to society. Your uncritical trust removes natural consequences for bad behavior, allowing it to continue and even escalate. Think about it. When someone lies to you and you believe them without question, you're rewarding lying. When someone breaks a commitment and you immediately trust their next promise, you're teaching them that their word doesn't need to mean anything. When someone manipulates you and you don't recognize it, you're confirming that their manipulative tactics work, encouraging them to use these methods on others. This enabling creates a cycle of dysfunction. The person never faces the natural consequence of lost trust that would motivate them to change their behavior. They continue their pattern, often escalating as they learn they can get away with more and more. Eventually, they encounter someone who isn't as trusting, and the consequences are severe, more severe than if they had been held accountable earlier. Epictetus taught that we should care for others by helping them develop virtue, not by shielding them from the consequences of vice. When you trust someone who hasn't earned it, when you give someone a 5th chance after they've proven 4 times they don't deserve it, you're not being kind or compassionate. You're being complicit in their moral decline. Moreover, your enabling affects not just the individual, but everyone else they interact with. The person you trusted who stole from you will likely steal from others. The person you trusted who lied to you will lie to others. The person you trusted who betrayed you will betray others. By not holding them accountable, by continuing to trust despite evidence that trust is unwarranted, you're unleashing them on an unsuspecting world. Number 7. You live in constant anxiety beneath a surface of trust. Here's something that people don't often talk about. Trusting everyone doesn't actually feel peaceful. Beneath the surface of your conscious trust is a subconscious anxiety, a part of you that knows something is wrong, that recognizes the risks you're taking, that sees the warning signs you're consciously ignoring. This creates a persistent low-level stress that affects your mental and physical health. The Stoics valued ataraxia, or tranquility of mind. True tranquility comes from living in alignment with reality and reason. When you force yourself to trust everyone, you're living in conflict with your own rational observations. Your conscious mind says, "I trust this person," but your subconscious mind whispers, "Something isn't right here." This internal conflict is exhausting. You might experience this anxiety as a vague unease you can't quite identify. You might find yourself constantly making excuses for people's behavior, trying to convince yourself that everything is fine. You might lose sleep wondering if you did the right thing, if you should have been more careful, if you're being paranoid or appropriately cautious. This mental turmoil is the price of denying your own wisdom. The anxiety also manifests as hypervigilance. Paradoxically, people who claim to trust everyone often spend enormous energy monitoring situations, looking for reassurance that their trust is justified. They check up on people, seek confirmation from others, or engage in subtle tests, all while maintaining they trust completely. This is mentally and emotionally exhausting. True peace comes from trusting appropriately, deeply trusting those who have proven themselves trustworthy through consistent action over time, and maintaining healthy skepticism toward those who haven't. This alignment between your judgment and your behavior eliminates the internal conflict and allows for genuine tranquility. Now that we've explored the dangers of trusting too easily, let's examine the 5 Stoic strategies to protect yourself while maintaining your integrity and virtue. Strategy number 1. Practice negative visualization regarding trust. The Stoics regularly practiced praemeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This wasn't pessimism, it was preparation. By imagining in advance what could go wrong, they ensured they wouldn't be destroyed by adversity when it occurred. Apply this practice to trust by mentally rehearsing what would happen if someone you're considering trusting proves untrustworthy. Before you share sensitive information, imagine how it could be used against you if the person shares it with others. Before you lend money, imagine how your relationship will change if it's never repaid. Before you rely on someone for something important, imagine how you'll handle the situation if they fail to follow through. This mental rehearsal doesn't make you paranoid, it makes you prepared. This practice also helps you make better decisions about trust. When you imagine the consequences of misplaced trust, you can evaluate whether the risk is worth taking. Sometimes it will be. Trusting involves risk, and some risks are worth taking for people who have shown themselves generally reliable. But other times, this visualization will reveal that you're about to take an enormous risk for very little potential benefit. Additionally, if your trust is eventually violated, you'll be much better equipped to handle it. Because you've already mentally rehearsed this possibility, you won't be completely blindsided. You'll have already thought through how you'll respond, what boundaries you'll enforce, and how you'll recover. This significantly reduces the psychological trauma of betrayal. Strategy number 2. Verify trust through action. Over time, Epictetus taught that we should judge people not by their words, but by their actions, and not by isolated actions, but by patterns of behavior over time. This is your most powerful tool for determining who deserves your trust. Don't give trust based on what people say, how they present themselves, or how much you want to believe in them. Give trust based on what they consistently do. This means starting with small tests of trustworthiness before gradually increasing what you entrust to someone. If someone offers to help you with a project, start by giving them a small, non-critical task. If they complete it reliably, you can gradually increase their responsibilities. If someone wants to borrow money, start with a small amount that you can afford to lose. If they repay it promptly, you can consider larger amounts in the future. Pay attention to consistency. Someone who is trustworthy will demonstrate reliability across different situations and over extended periods. They'll keep commitments when it's convenient and when it's difficult. They'll be honest when the truth serves them and when it doesn't. They'll respect your boundaries when you're present and when you're not. This consistency is the mark of genuine character. Also observe how people treat others, not just how they treat you. Someone who gossips to you about others will gossip about you to others. Someone who takes advantage of vulnerable people will take advantage of you when you're vulnerable. Someone who lies to others will lie to you. Their treatment of people who can't benefit them reveals their true character more accurately than their treatment of people. They're trying to impress. This strategy requires patience. You cannot know if someone is trustworthy after one meeting, 1 week, or even 1 month. True character reveals itself over time, across various situations, under different pressures. The Stoic understands that rushing to trust is simply rushing to vulnerability. Strategy number 3, establish and enforce clear boundaries. The Stoics believed in living according to nature, which includes the natural human need for boundaries. Your boundaries are the limits you set on what you'll accept, what you'll give, and how you'll allow yourself to be treated. When you trust too easily, you typically have weak boundaries or no boundaries at all. Strengthening your boundaries is essential for protecting yourself. Start by identifying what your limits actually are. What behaviors are you unwilling to accept? What are you unwilling to give? What information are you unwilling to share? What commitments are you unwilling to make? Get very clear on these limits for yourself first. You cannot enforce boundaries you haven't clearly defined. Then, communicate these boundaries explicitly. Don't assume people will just know what your limits are. If you're unwilling to lend money, say so before someone asks. If you need commitments to be kept, explain that reliability is important to you. If you value privacy, make it clear that you don't share or appreciate the sharing of personal information. Clear communication prevents many problems before they start. Most importantly, enforce your boundaries consistently. This is where many people fail. They set boundaries, but then waive them when someone they trust asks for an exception. Every time you fail to enforce a boundary, you teach others that your boundaries are negotiable, that they don't really need to respect your limits. The Stoic is firm in their principles, not rigidly inflexible, but consistently committed to their core values. Enforcing boundaries often means saying no, even to people you care about, even when it feels uncomfortable. It means following through with consequences when boundaries are violated. It means being willing to end relationships with people who repeatedly disrespect your limits. This is not cruelty. This is self-respect and the respect for the order and reason that the Stoics valued so highly. Strategy number 4, cultivate a circle of proven friends. Seneca wrote extensively about friendship in his letters, emphasizing that true friends are rare and precious. The Stoics didn't believe in having countless superficial relationships. They believed in cultivating a small number of deep friendships with people of virtue and character. This is your inner circle, the people who have proven over time that they deserve your deepest trust. Building this circle requires selectivity. Not everyone who wants your friendship deserves it. Not everyone who is friendly to you is actually your friend. A true friend, in the Stoic sense, is someone who shares your values, supports your growth, tells you the truth even when it's difficult, and demonstrates consistent care for your well-being. These people are rare, and finding them takes time. Once you've identified these proven friends, invest in these relationships. Give them the trust, time, energy, and vulnerability that you've been giving to everyone indiscriminately. These relationships can become deep, nourishing, and genuinely supportive because they're built on a foundation of demonstrated trustworthiness. This is where you can be truly yourself without the need for constant guardedness. Having this circle of proven friends also provides you with perspective on new people you encounter. You can check your perceptions with these trusted friends, asking their observations about someone's character. Often, people in your trusted circle will notice red flags that you're missing because they're not emotionally invested in wanting to trust the new person. Their outside perspective is invaluable. This strategy also protects you from the loneliness that might otherwise drive you to trust unwisely. When you have solid, reliable relationships with your proven friends, you're less likely to desperately seek connection with people who haven't earned it. You're less vulnerable to manipulation because your emotional needs are already being met by people who genuinely care for you. Strategy number 5. Develop your own integrity as a foundation. Here's a truth that the Stoics understood deeply. The best protection against being deceived by others is to be someone who cannot be tempted to deceive. When you live with absolute integrity, when your word is unbreakable and your character is solid, you develop an internal compass that makes you much more sensitive to the lack of integrity in others. Living with integrity means aligning your actions with your stated values at all times, not just when it's convenient. It means being honest even when lying would benefit you. It means keeping commitments even when breaking them would be easier. It means taking responsibility for your mistakes rather than deflecting blame. This is the Stoic practice of virtue, and it transforms not just how others see you, but how you see the world. When you live this way, you become acutely aware of when others don't. Someone who always keeps their word notices immediately when someone else is casual about commitments. Someone who is rigorously honest recognizes deception more quickly. Someone who takes responsibility sees when others are making excuses. Your own integrity becomes a measuring stick by which you assess others. This practice also makes you less attractive to manipulators and users. These people prefer targets who are somewhat compromised, who have their own ethical shortcuts, because these people are less likely to judge them or hold them accountable. When you live with obvious integrity, manipulative people often sense that you'll be more trouble than you're worth and move on to easier targets. Moreover, your integrity gives you the moral authority to enforce boundaries and withdraw trust when necessary. When you know you've behaved honorably, you don't second-guess your decision to distance yourself from someone who hasn't. You don't feel guilty for protecting yourself from people who have proven themselves untrustworthy. Your clear conscience gives you clarity and strength. In conclusion, according to Stoic wisdom, trust is not a gift to be scattered freely, but a treasure to be bestowed carefully on those who have proven themselves worthy of it. The middle path, as in so many areas of life, is the wise path. Neither trust everyone blindly, nor trust no one completely. Instead, trust appropriately, proportionally, and based on demonstrated character over time. Remember that protecting yourself from unwise trust is not the same as becoming cynical or closed-hearted. The Stoics were not misanthropes who hated humanity. They were realists who understood it. They believed in the potential for human virtue while remaining clear-eyed about human weakness. You can maintain this same balance, offering goodwill to all while reserving deep trust for the few who have earned it. The path of Stoic wisdom regarding trust will protect you from manipulation, betrayal, and the countless small ways that trusting too easily can diminish your life. At the same time, it will allow you to build deep, authentic relationships with people of genuine character. You'll sleep better, stress less, and move through the world with the calm confidence that comes from knowing you're neither naive nor paranoid, but wise. We've reached the end of this journey, and I sincerely hope these insights will serve you well. Remember that you are an essential part of this channel. If this video has helped you, made you think, or taught you something valuable, give it a thumbs up so that more people can discover the power of Stoic wisdom. Subscribe for a daily dose of Stoic wisdom and growth. And don't forget to check out our ebook about Stoicism and how to apply it in your own life. Until next time, Practice discernment, protect your peace, and live with virtue.